Hello friends, today we will talk about analytic function, which is very important topic of complex analysis. Today we will see what is function of complex variables, what is analytic function, entire function, singular point and Cauchy-Riemann conditions, which are actually the conditions to check whether the given function is analytic or not. So first we see function of complex variables. Here we see z is equal to x plus iota y. Okay, suppose we take this value and we know it is standard form of any complex number. Then the function of this z, okay, so w is equal to f of z, which is a function of z, is equal to u of x comma y plus iota v of x comma y is called function of complex variables. Here u and v, they both are real values and they are functions of x and y. Then this is called function of complex variables. It is actually transformation of any value from z plane to w plane. Okay. Next we see analytic function, which is also known as regular function or holomorphic function. Now a function which is single valued, it must have unique value, okay? So which is single valued and differentiable at each point of a domain D is called analytic function. We can take domain D as a closed contour in the given complex plane. Suppose this is our domain D and this is a function fz. If this function is single valued and possess unique derivative at each and every point of this D, then we say this function fz is analytic at this domain D. Okay. Now next is entire function. A function which is analytic at each point of given domain D is called entire function. A function which is analytic for each and every point inside and on this D, okay, then it is called entire function. For example, all the polynomials and exponential functions are actually entire functions, right? Now the next definition is singular point. There may be some points inside this D or on this D where the function ceases to be analytic, okay? So these points are known as singular points, right? So a point where the given function is not analytic is called singular point. For example, we see one function f of z is equal to 1 by z minus 1. This function is analytic everywhere except z is equal to 1, because at z is equal to 1, the value of this function will become infinite and it is not differentiable. It is not differentiable at z is equal to 1. So we can say z is equal to 1 is a singular point for this given function, right? Next we see Cauchy-Riemann conditions. It is actually condition which is used to check whether the given function is analytic or not. So we can understand this condition by a theorem and proof of this theorem. Now see, the necessary condition that a function fz is equal to u of x comma y plus iota v of x comma y be analytic in the given domain D is that del u by del x is equal to del v by del y and del u by del y is equal to minus del v by del x, or in short we can write ux is equal to vy and uy is equal to minus vx, which shows the partial derivatives of u and v with respect to x and y. So actually these two equations are Cauchy-Riemann conditions, right? Now we see proof of this. Suppose we have z is equal to x plus iota y and we take w is equal to f of z u of x comma y plus iota v of x comma y be an analytic function. Because w is analytic function, that means it must be unique valued and it must be differentiable. That means it will possess unique derivative at each point of D when we take delta z tends to 0 by the definition of differentiability. Now we take derivative along the real axis. When we are talking about real axis, that means we are taking x-axis, okay? So when we are taking this x-axis, that means the value of this imaginary part, this y-axis will become 0. So this z is equal to x plus iota y. So delta z is equal to delta x plus iota delta y. So along the real axis, this value I delta y, this will become 0, okay, and delta z will become equal to delta x, right? So here delta z is equal to delta x and delta y is equal to 0 when we are taking derivative along the real axis or x-axis. So in that case, limit delta z tends to 0, delta w by delta z is equal to limit delta x tends to 0 of delta w by delta x. Since this delta y is 0 here, right? Similarly, we are taking derivative along the imaginary axis. That means we are taking derivative along the y-axis. In that case, this real part will become 0, right? So here delta z is equal to iota delta y and delta x is equal to 0, right? So we have limit delta z tends to 0, delta w by delta z is equal to limit delta y tends to 0, delta w by iota delta y, by using this relation, okay? And actually this equation number 1 and equation number 2, they both are the same values, so they must be equal. So we can write limit delta x tends to 0. These two values are same, okay? So equating these equations 1 and 2, we have limit delta x tends to 0, delta w by delta x is equal to limit delta y tends to 0, delta w by iota delta y. Applying the limit, we will have del w by del x is equal to del w by iota del y. Now we resolve this w in components u and v. So we will have del u by del x plus iota del v by del x is equal to 1 by iota del u by del y plus iota del v by del y, because w is equal to u plus iota y. And we know that 1 by iota is actually minus of iota. So put this value here, we will get del u by del x plus iota del v by del x is equal to minus iota del v by del y plus these two iota will cancel each other and plus del v by del y. We get it, okay? Now we just equate real and imaginary parts. We just rearrange the terms right here, and now we equate real and imaginary parts of both the equations. We will get del u by del x is equal to del v by del y, and del v by del x is equal to del u by del minus of del u by del y. Okay. Just we write this term as del u by del y is equal to minus del v by del x. Okay. So now we get two conditions: del u by del x is equal to del v by del y, and del u by del y is equal to minus del v by del x. Or we can write ux minus ux is equal to vy, and uy is equal to minus v of x. Okay, so it is called Cauchy-Riemann equations, which is used to check whether the given function is analytic or not, right? Now next we see the polar form of Cauchy-Riemann conditions. We know that x is equal to r cos theta and y is equal to r sin theta, and r square is equal to x square plus y square, and theta is equal to tan inverse y by x. We use these relations here, then we will get del u by del r is equal to 1 by r del v by del theta, and del u by del theta is equal to minus r del v by del r, which is polar form of Cauchy-Riemann conditions. Now we see one more important relation which is used to solve problems. dw by dz is equal to cos theta minus iota sin theta del w by del r is equal to minus iota by r cos theta minus iota sin theta del w by del theta. Derivation of these two were not much important, but if you want, so just write in comment box. In next video lecture I will give the derivations also. Next we see harmonic function. By Cauchy-Riemann conditions we have del u by del x is equal to del v by del y, and del u by del y is equal to minus del v by del x. We differentiate this first part with respect to x, then we will get del square u by del x square is equal to del square v by del x del y, and again we differentiate this second part with respect to y, then we get del square u by del y square is equal to minus del square v by del x del y. Okay, we add these two, then what we get? We will get del square u by del x square plus del square u by del y square is equal to 0, which is known as harmonic function or also known as Laplace equation. Okay, so thank you.